Well, now my microphone is muted. The session is now being recorded, and we are supposed to be sharing things, or they're sharing many notions about some grammatical issue. It's going to be about something you may learn. Maybe you are knowledgeable of part of it, but in general, we are going to move through different stages, and the stages go as far as 3 stages. We will learn more about how to make styles sometimes more efficient and more effective, and learn how to make combinations quite possible, depending on the elements we can get at hand. For example, let's study these examples in the first place. You can find that in line 1, there is a pair of sentences, 2 sentences in the line. The old man is extremely kind. The old man is extremely generous. Again, in line 2, you can get a pair of sentences. She received a pocket calculator for her birthday. She also received a wool sweater for her birthday. Again, in line 3, he spoke angrily about the war. He spoke bitterly about the war. In line 4, I hope to go to that university. I hope to study under Dr. Leo as well. Well, in examples like these, and let's take them one by one, you will find that maybe some intervention is necessary. You should intervene. Maybe you may find that it's okay if we have 2 sentences, but it would be better if we have only 1. And maybe one thing is going to be causing us to do that. What do you think is quite special for these sentences? And let's take them, a pair all at once. Each time we take a pair of sentences. The old man is extremely kind. The old man is extremely generous. And let's say the old man is also extremely generous. Well, what do you think about these sentences? Is it quite normal to have sentences doing just what is done over here? What would you deduce or conclude for the 2 sentences, first ones only? Is it normal again to have sentences? Yes, of course, you can find that something is not normal, something which is causing us again to think of a way of bringing things on a different axle and get a better way. Well, we are going to do just that, exactly this point. We are going to find a way to bring ideas together, but on some better way. Which parts do you think are now repeated? And let's get back again to line 1. The old man is extremely kind. The old man is extremely generous. Which words do you think are now being repeated? You can very simply find that words like these have some much repetition in among them, and these are the parts that are quite repeated, right? The old man is extremely. Again, for line 2, you can find the same very thing. That's exactly what is quite attractive, or let's say special about these sentences, that they are not in a plain way expressing just one simple thing in a simple way. Rather, it is making repetition. What other words do you think are there in line 2 that are repeated? She received a pocket calculator for her birthday. She also received a wool sweater for her birthday. Check these. Are they the ones you have found? Well, too much repetition for nothing. Is it normal again to keep repeating words over and over unnecessarily, which means we repeat things which are not necessary to keep repeating? Their repetition makes no sense and gives no, let's say, there's no benefit in keeping, again, repeating things. Again, in line 3, he spoke angrily about the war. He also spoke bitterly about the war. Check these and see if these were the parts you have found quite repeated. If you pay close attention again to the parts that are not repeated, you can find that they are very tiny and very limited. Line 4, I hope to go to that university. I hope to study under Dr. Leo as well. Too much repetition is in other examples, but in this one there is some little repetition. Well, you can find that with these at hand, we come again to discover that there is some necessity to make one simple sentence in a very simple way. Well, this is the simplest stage we are going to start with. Don't forget that we will be just moving to the next level and then to the next, just starting by the simplest way we ever have to combine things without getting to repeat things. Well, line 1 again comprises of words that have not been repeated, which are more precisely kind with generous. Same thing for line 2 and line 3 and line 4. You can find out about the unrepeated words now being written in bold. Well, the point is, with repetition, we have to deal in two ways if we have to. Well, one may do, otherwise settled. To deal with repetition, the first thing we start doing is to avoid repetition or avoid repeating things. This is the first stage. And if we find that this is okay, we stick to the to this first step. Whenever it does not, if we feel that it does not have, to be quite enough, we may move to the second stage. But let's try the first step in doing that, is to avoid repeating things. Which part do you think you can now avoid repeating? Is it the first or second? And we are going to find out why. Maybe you have thought of one. The old man is extremely kind. The old man is extremely generous. Avoid and omit just one part, one repeated part. Maybe you have thought of that. Now you can start thinking of a way to combine the rest. Making a combination possible can come only by way of a linking word, a very simple and simply used word, which is now very simply being thought of.
And
yes, this is quite the point. Maybe something is driving us to think of and. Well, there's no question about it. We were just driven to think of and as a main clue and a main solution, a main possible linking word. It is a very simple word indeed, but why is it the one we need in this very specific situation? The question is, when we read an idea divided into two sentences, parted into two sentences, and an idea of two sentences just combined in one, which one would you find better? The way in line 1 or the way you may be saying the same thing in line A? You will find the difference. Yes, that simpler way, which we may be thinking of. Why would we do that? Firstly, to avoid repeating things, but how would we do that? How could we do the same and do it the right way? We have thought of and maybe something has helped us think or start thinking about it. Well, the question is, and is called a conjunction of coordination. Why do you think we have called it a conjunction of coordination? And let's have a way of thinking of that. Let's get to the example. The old man is extremely kind and generous. Kind is a conjunction. It combines words. Which words do you think and is now combining? It is combining and kind with generous. The old man is extremely kind plus generous. Why? The meaning is now possible by way of using and making sense by way of combining these. What are these words in the first place? Kind. If I ever ask you a question about kind, yes, because it combines or it, let's say, describes man. And an adjective is a word that describes a noun. Just as about generous. What do you think generous is? What kind of word is the word generous?
Adjective too.
It's an adjective too. And is over here to be combining adjectives together. And for this reason, it is called the conjunction of coordination. Now it comes again in question. Has and brought combination or coordination to these coordinated words, or is it these words that summoned and made us think of and. I repeat, is it and which is bringing combination or coordination to the sentence, or is it these words that have called for and to make
Sir, we don't
combination?
hear you clearly.
Okay, I'm going to repeat, but I'm going to say it quite, maybe I'm just, the microphone is not working well. Can you hear me now so clearly?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to repeat my question. Is it and which is now adding and pouring and bringing some coordination to the sentence, or it is these words that have called for and as an only coordinator? بالنسبة لنا السؤال هو واش and أداة الربط تنعرفه واش هي اللي عطات لا كورديناسيون توافق ما بين هذه الكلمتين او لا هما اللي خلونا نفكروا في and صافي دير الانطلاقه بدات من واحد فيهم واش and هي اللي عطات لا كورديناسيون صافي دير ما كانتش لا كورديناسيون في الاول and هي اللي عطاتنا هذا الشيء او لا هاد لي زيليمون هما اللي خلونا نفكروا في and على انها هي اللي غتناسب هذا الكونتكست دونك واحد فيهم خلانا نفكروا في الاخر شكون من عند من بدا التاثير واش من عند لي زادجيكتيف اللي كان كل واحد فيهم فراز فجمعناهم عاد خلونا نفكروا في اند او لا اند هي اللي عطاتنا لا كورديناسيون ما كانوش كوردوني. Well, there is much repetition indeed, but which existed first, the adjectives or the conjunction? شكون اللي كان موجود عندنا في الاول لي زادجيكتيف ولا لا conjunction? Well, and once we have started thinking of omitting and avoiding repetition, we have started of combining these which have a coordination in between. This is a kind of patterning which goes as far as that, and has been up to bring adjectives together in this example. Let's see what and can bring about and bring closer in the following examples. We are going to be doing just the same. Avoiding repetition. Think of a way to avoid repetition. Example 2.
لا بس كلمه
لا ديك الساعة الله يبارك لا شكرا بارك الله فيك بارك الله فيك. Well, excuse me. Have you got my point? Can you start now thinking of avoiding repetition? Let's try to do without repetition. We're going to omit repetition. In line 2, which part do you think we can best omit in this line? Well, to better tell you one thing, and is a conjunction of coordination. It is highlighting the coordination that exists between coordinated words. These have coordination in between. These represent some kind of parallel structure. A parallel structure, which means we have made a structure over here based on parallelism. And the question is going to be as such. Once you read the example, the old man is extremely kind and generous. You would find that the word kind is an adjective which describes man. Also for generous, it is an adjective that describes the noun man. It is the man who is kind plus generous. One noun with two adjectives that operate parallelly so as to avoid repeating things. And let's see, with the first adjective there is a noun in combination with, and there is a linking verb, is. The man is kind. A linking verb, which is only one, serving to combine both adjectives together with the same noun, all in parallel. This makes repeating the same words It makes that kind of repeating unnecessary. Let's now start thinking of how to avoid repetition. We are not going to base on repetition in the first place. Rather, we would base on or dwell on parallel structure and the parallel structure elements. Let's now talk about a pocket calculator and a wool sweater, and let's see how parallel they are. They must be parallel in terms of form. They must have the same form, and let's see if they belong to the same word family. And they must have the same function. This way only would we say that they are parallel. She received a pocket calculator for her birthday. If we study the example in 1, you would find that a pocket calculator is a noun. Well, what would be for the other word? For it to be parallel, it must itself be a noun. She also received a wool sweater. This is another noun again. In terms of form, they have the same form. They are nouns. But in terms of function, if it comes to function, their operational aspect in the sentence, how they complete the sentence. She received what? In answer to the question what, we need to use an object. We need a complement. Now a pocket calculator is a complement. Again, for line 2, or sentence 2, the second sentence in the same line, she also received what? In answer to the question what, we need a complement. We need an object. Well, to bring these together, which have a coordination between, we must erase, we must squeeze the repeated parts in between. That's why we may think of these as the part that must be avoided, because we need to join these together. Can you now start thinking of the last form we can get or give or grant to the sentence? Which form would the sentence better be offered and granted to, express ourselves, quite effectively? What would the sentence look like without repetition? Can you give me your assumption? Yes? A pocket calculator.
And awards for her birthday.
Yes, and that would be a very simple way again of saying things, as if we're now saying that whenever we have to encounter sentences like these, that was what they meant. هذا تعني بأنه إلا لقينا دي فراز بهذا الشكل راه هادشي اللي كانوا قاصدين بشكل مختصر. Very simply. كما قلت لكم هذه يلا المرحلة الأولى اللي غنتفقوا عليها أصلا كنتوا عارفينها وحنا تنشوفوا الإشارات. Now, and as a conjunction, what words has it been able to bring together? You can find if you are following up the pattern that it is bringing nouns together. Very simply. Now we are just being endorsing again the idea that we have a parallel structure. Nouns can be combined only with nouns in a parallel structure. Adjectives are brought together with adjectives, only adjectives and exclusively adjectives in a parallel structure. Let's see what we can get again combined in the following pairs. He spoke angrily about the war. He also spoke bitterly about the war, thinking of a way to avoid repetition. Which part do you think we should avoid? Is it necessary to only omit and remove the repeated parts in a second sentence? واش مفروض دايما نحذفوا من الجملة الثانية؟ واش هذا هو الشرط؟ Taking these into account as parallel parts, one of which is an adverb and the other is an adverb as well. These are going to tell us much about the limit of the part to be dealing with in terms of omission and removal. إلا شفنا هاد لازالمون دو باراليليزم راه بهم غادي نتصاوبوا عرفنا الحدود ديال منطقة الحذف. تو سامبلومون صافي ديال ما غاديش نبقاو ديما نحذفوا من دوزيام فراس. ليكزومبل الاولاني كان خاص بداكشي اللي كان موجود عندنا في ليكزومبل الاول. ملي فتنا غنشوفوا معطيات اخرين ثاني غادي نشوفوا المعطيات اللي عندنا. دونك ما غاديش نعمموا ونحددوا من ليكزومبل الاول على انه دائما دوزيام فراز هي اللي كنحذفوا منها. ممكن نلقاو بان راه لا بروميير فراز ممكن نحذفوا حتى هي منها. ممكن نحذفوا غير منها بوحدها. دونك لي كا غيبداو يتبدلوا. اشنو اللي تيحدد لينا الجزء اللي غنحذفوا منه هما لي زيليمون لا ستركتور باراليل تو سامبلومون. اوكي. Can you now start thinking of making one sentence with the meaning of two? ممكن دابا تفكروا في الشكل اللي غيكون عندنا في الفراز اللي فيها فراز وحده جمله وحده فيها المعنى ديال جوج ديال لي فراز. Can you make one
He
sentence?
spoke angrily
Yes.
and bitterly about the war.
Yes, that would be the simplest way. He spoke angrily and bitterly about the war. And whenever we have a conjunction of coordination, we must seek and look for the parallel structure. In the pattern at hand, we find that we are now combining adverbs together. There is no way using an adverb all in combination with something other than that. لا يعقل أن غنلقاو an adverb كوردوني مع كلمة ماشي بحالو من النوع في النوع شي نوع آخر. اوكي دونك راه هذا هو منين جات التسمية conjunctions of coordination. Last example before moving to the exercises, because we need again to know more about how to make this more efficient. Okay, I hope to go to that university. I hope to study under Dr. Liu. We have these to go to study, which you can now find out that they belong to one family of words. These are infinitives. We do not say that these are verbs because they have no tense. When we say that this is a verb, it must have a tense, but this doesn't. That's why we call it definitely and a straight meaning, a straight word, which is infinitive, which means a verb without tense indeed, a tenseless verb. Okay? It is a verb indeed, but a tenseless verb, a verb without tense. Can you now start thinking of a way to bring these together? Don't forget that also, just like as well, also, just like as well, were used before, but they did not or have the aptitude and ability to make just one sentence. They were only able to combine meanings, but not combine sentences. That's why we can omit them as long as we have and, which is that much better. And the sentence would look something like, I hope to go to that university and to study under Dr. Liu, or very simply, and study. Why do you think, or let's have a say regarding the omission of to. Do you think it is optional if we keep or omit, remove to? في نظركم الاختيار ديال انه نخليو to ولا نحذفوها؟ فهذه بالضبط. شنو هو الشكل الافضل؟ انها تبقى ولا تحذف؟
تحذف أستاذ.
تحذف.
فوالا دونك عندنا اختيار مادام لا ريبيتيسيون ديال واحد ليليمون لا نيغاسيون تو بسيط جزء من الانفينيتيف مادام غادي يتعاود يعني ما يوقعش خلط عندكم ما بين تو اللي هي جزء من الانفينيتيف و تو اللي هي preposition go where go to that university to this verb over here is a preposition. It is used next to some noun. Well, indicating the destination or orientation. Okay, well, to is the only preposition which can be used, all in confusion with the infinitive. Okay. Okay, I'm going here in again to move to the following part, which is an exercise about some patterns. Would you please give me again, your impression about these sentences, part of which was repeated or was, studied earlier. In one, the old man is extremely kind and generous. Secondly, he received a pocket calculator and a wool sweater for his birthday. Line 3, she spoke angrily and bitterly about the war. Number 4, I looked for my book but couldn't find it. Now you come to find out that but is one of the conjunctions. It is not only and, which is the only conjunction of coordination. We can find but, and we are going to talk about that in details. Number 5, I hope to go to that university and study under Dr. Liu. Number 6, in my spare time I enjoy reading novels or watching television. 7, he will leave at 8 and arrive at 9. 8, He should have broken his engagement to Beth and married Sue instead. What is expected of you? Following the instructions, you will have to underline the parallel structure. We are going to do something like that. And is the conjunction in use indeed? But we need to underline the parallel structure. Let's find a way to work out the conjunctions of coordination in the first place. The old man is extremely kind and generous. Here is and as a conjunction. Secondly, the word in conjunction of coordination is still line 3. But in line 4, there is but. Line 5, there is and. Line 6, there is or. Two other conjunctions of coordination. These are the three conjunctions of coordination. Whatsoever has been said about and still includes and involves but and or. داكشي اللي كنا قلنا على and كيشمل حتى but and or. قللنا الأمثلة باش يكون عندنا سهولة في نستوعبوا تفاصيل أكثر بكلمات أقل. Okay. Well, in line 7 again we find and quite used. How would we underline a parallel structure? What is a parallel structure? As you can see in line 1, here is one part of the parallel structure, and here is the other, and is joining these, exactly these. The old man is extremely kind and generous, kind plus generous. Okay? This is what you are expected to be doing, to underline the parallel structure in each sentence, and then we give the pattern. We are going to say what kind has as a function and what generous has a function. Well, these are adjectives. Have you got it? What about sentence number 2? Yes. What about sentence number 2? He received a pocket calculator and a wool sweater for his birthday. Which words do you think I need to underline?
A pocket calculator, wool
Yes.
sweater for
Yes. Yes. Regarding these words, what kind of words are they?
compliments.
Yes, and more precisely, they are nouns. Yes, they are used as complements. Nouns can be used as complements. But once a noun is to be combined, it should be combined to another noun. Okay? Line 3, she spoke angrily and bitterly about the war. Which words do you think I need to underline?
Angrily and bitterly.
Yes, this is it. And these words more precisely. Do you still remember what they stand for in terms of function?
Adverb.
Yes. I would be just explaining what an adverb, and more precisely, an adverb of manner, adverbe de manière. An adverb of manner is made out of an adjective, angry, but with the addition of a suffix, ly. For example, kind. If I ever have to turn it into some adverb of manner, I must put a suffix of this like, kind, kindly. Generous again is an adjective, but to turn it into an adverb of manner, it would be easy with the suffix ly. Dangerous, dangerously. Generous, generously. Easy, easily. Just as angry, angrily. Bitter, bitterly. It is telling something about the act, the action, how it happened. It is telling us about the manner the act took place. In what way? She spoke in what way? Angrily. This is what the adverb of manner, is all about. It is about how the act happened. It is about the manner the act happened. And this is exactly what we need to learn over here. Why we have such kind of words, not just for rhyming that they belong together, but for their functions as well. In number 4, I looked for my book but couldn't find it. Yes, can you find a way to work these words out? Of course, but is the linking word, but what hasn't been apt to bring together?
My book couldn't find.
Well, you would be a bit confused sometimes because some sentences are a little bit misleading. بعض الجمل غادي يخليو يكون عندنا يقع لنا بعض المغالطات بعض المرات. الور بعض هي أداة ربط نورمالمون ماشي خصها تربط غير الكلمات اللي قرابين ليها كل وحدة على جانبها من الجانب اليمين ولا من اليسار. راه ممكن نقراو لا فراز ونشوفوا فين كاين لو باراليليزم. وهانتوما انت عاود النيت معايا بقى معايا النيت اللي جاوبتيني حاول تركز معايا هاد النقطه هادي وشوف فين كاين الباراليليزم ماشي القرب ديال الكلمات من بعض وانما فين كاين الباراليليزم قرا لا فراز على اساس انه فيها باراليليزم I looked for my book but couldn't find it. اوكي عاودوا رجعوا لشي حاجه اكبر من هادشي قبل ما ننهي شويه. Yes. 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 Find or couldn't find. Yes. To look for as a phrasal verb is a main verb indeed. It is a phrasal verb to look for something, to search. Okay? To seek something. I looked for my book. I did that, but the result was that I couldn't find it. Find is the main verb, but could is an auxiliary verb which together can make some sense. Okay? So, what are these more precisely? Look for, couldn't find. Are these adjectives, nouns, adverbs, or maybe something different?
Verbs, maybe. No.
Yes, of course. These are verbs. Well, as verbs, they are the only ones in this sentence that have a kind of coordination in between. هما اللي بيناتهم واحد النوع من التوافق. كاينه كورديناسيون بيناتهم هما اصلا كوردوني. Okay. Again, in number 5, this example was already studied earlier. I hope to go to that university and study under Dr. Liu. What would you say about that? The words I must underline in terms of parallel structure. Yes? I hope. Yes, that was the first word. Yes, well, that was the first word. Can you just tell me what the other word would look like? I hope. Well, I hope to attain two things. The first of which is to go to that university and
study.
Yes, what these words stand for in terms of function or form. Do you still remember? Well, these are to go is an infinitive. Yes. In my spare time, I enjoy reading novels or watching television. Reading the sentence again in the light of parallelism, two words may come calling. Yes, which words do you think are
reading and watching?
Yes, more precisely. And you must be aware about their form. What pattern do they represent? Yes, to enjoy reading novels or watching television. Well, more precisely, in terms of patterning, what these words may best stand for.
Verbs.
Well, if this is a bit misleading again, بالنسبة لهذا النوع ديال الكلمات اللي فيهم ing صراحة غادي يخلينا نراهنوا على أنه هذا verb. اوكي غادي تكون مراهنة وتنقولوا بأنه متأكدين منه فعلا الشكل ديالها تبين بأنه verb. الشكل غير الشكل ولكن واش مضمون واش يعني هذا بأنه فعلا راه verb بهذا الشكل اللي عنده ing خاصو واحد لوكسيلير اللي هو be. is reading. واش تنقول I reading novels؟ واش بحال هكذا كتكون؟ لا I watching television؟
No.
فوالا دونك خاصنا ان اوكسيليير. واش داك الاوكسيليير كاين؟ غتلاحظوا بان ما كاينش داك الاوكسيليير. دونك الشكل ديال الفيرب ديال الكلمه تيبان بانه شكل ديال الفيرب، ولكن ما كاينينش التفاصيل كاملين ديال الفيرب. الور هنا السؤال تيبقى معلق. هذا واش فعلا فيرب؟ الا كان فيرب خصو يحترم الشكل كامل، هنا ما احترمش الشكل كامل. دونك كاين هنايا تبقى الحكم على انه فيرب مبني على الشكل اللي ما احترمش كلشي، ما احترمش التفاصيل كاملين. اوكي الور هذا تيخلي هذا الاختيار هذا معلق. وكما قلت لكم راه الشكل غيبين لينا بان فيرب، ولكن هنايا لاحظنا بانه ما عطاناش التفاصيل كاملين ديال الفيرب. لا ميم شوز بالنسبه للاخر. اي ان جي كنشوفو حتى عند لي نو ماركتينغ، لو ماركتينغ. اوكي في اي ان جي نقدروا نلقاو دي تيرم اخرين بحال ذا باركينغ سي ان نو في اي ان جي. الوغ غادي نلاحظوا بانه اي ان جي كتكون حتى عند لي نو. اوكي هذا واش ممكن نعتبروه؟ نعم. لو نو مفروض انه يكون بعض النوبات مسموح ليه انه يكون معرف معاه الارتيكل ديفيني the definite article. Let's have the definite article like the. Okay, the old man. This is the definite article. Do you think that can be used over here? Enjoy the reading novels or the watching televisions. That wouldn't match either. حتى بالنسبه للارتيكل ديفيني ما خدمش لينا هنا. دونك الكلمه كاسم ما استفادش. هي بالنسبه لنا هذا النوع ديال الكلمات راه كيجمع ما بين كونه تيشبه الفيرب وكونه تيشبه لو نون. اوكي that's the gerund. c'est un gérondif gerund. اوكي نورمالمون هذا هكذا داير. لو جيرونديف هو واحد لو مو كيشبه لو فيرب من حيث لا فورم. فريمون اللي داكشي اللي قلتو ليا كاين تيشبه لو فيرب ولكن ما احترمش جميع القواعد ديال الفيرب. وكيشبه لو نون انه لو نون ممكن يكون كومبليمون بحال كما قبيله لقينا هنا she received what or he received what. حتى هنايا I enjoy what غادي خصنا ان كومبليمون. هذاك لو كومبليمون جانا في هذا الشكل ديال ing فورم. داك لو كومبليمون ما كانش اسم وانما كان شي حاجه كتشبه الاسم لا فونكسيون الموقع من الجمله. الور هذاك الكومبليمون هنايا اللي يقدر يكون تيشبه لو نون في لا فونكسيون وتيشبه لو فيرب في لا فورم هو جيرند. هذا بالنسبه للكلمه الاولانيه كانت جيرند. وشنو هو الدليل الاخر على انه جيرونديف؟ جيرند تيكون خاصو كومبليمون دوبجي. I enjoy reading what. It needs a complement of its own. حتى لو جيرونديف خاصو كومبليمون. وشوفوا الدليل هنا or watching what. watching television. غتلقاو بان هادو سون دي جيرونديف ومازال الكلام على هادو غادي نصادفوه من بعد ونتكلموا عليه بتفاصيل كتر. اوكي in number 7 he will leave at 8 and arrive at 9. With the parallelism in head, you would now start thinking of the ways or the words that sound parallel. Yes. He will leave at 8 and arrive at 9. I'm going to underline one word. What other word do you think? Yes. Well, but the point is that something is now just avoided or removed. المسألة هو أنه مع الفيرب الثاني الكلمة الثانية راه شي حاجة غير محذوفة، غير ما بغيناش نعاودوها وصافي تفاديناها. بحال كما في الأول واحد لاليمون ديال الانفينيتيف غير حذفناه تفاديناه وكان أفضل بالنسبة لنا. حتى هنا راه حذفنا هاد الأوكسيليير. He will leave at 8 and will arrive at 9. What are these words? Will leave and will arrive. These are
verbs.
yes. And the omission of the repeated auxiliary is quite possible. And let's move again to line 8. He should have broken his engagement to Beth and married Sue instead. This time, 2 auxiliary verbs are omitted. هاد المرة جوج ديال لي زوكسيليير تحذفوا. Yes? Yes? Yes, should have broken together with.
Married.
Yes, which would be should have married. He should have broken his engagement to Beth and should have married Sue instead. And to avoid repeating the same words, we have done this. Okay. The following exercise is going to be about something just given this way. Just to move a bit swiftly to the following stage, we need to know more about how to make combinations possible and what to base on. Parallel structure makes repeating the same words unnecessary, which means we will find some repeated parts in these pairs, or maybe we can get 3 sentences. Combine the given sentences into one. Instead of having 2 sentences to say just divided parts of a statement, let's use one statement with the meaning of 2. Combine the given sentences into one concise. Concise means precise, short, to the point, and very concentrated. Okay? Combine the given sentences into one concise sentence that contains parallel structure. Punctuate carefully. Let's have as a case in point, first example, Marie will open the door, Marie will greet the guests. Which parts do you think we can first start underlining? Marie will open the door, Marie will greet the guests.
Mary, and
Yes. Which words do you think we should underline in the first place? Because we can start with parallel structures in mind.
Mary will.
Will. Is it the 2 words together? Marie will. These are repeated. If it is for parallel structure, they are the elements which are not repeated. Which words do you think are not repeated in these pairs?
Open the door.
Yes, and more precisely
And
with open together with.
the guest.
Yes. This is most precisely the parts. Okay. If you ever have to think of a way of bringing them together, let's now start thinking of the repeated parts that must be fluctuated. We can just think of the parts which are repeated and that occur between the 2 parallel structure elements. This is it. Can you now make your sentence? It will very simply
Mary
become.
will open the door and greet the guest.
Yes, you have done it successfully by omitting even the repeated auxiliary, and this is quite okay so far. Let's try to think of a way to bring these together in other examples that you will be given in, a clearer way, and this way we would make it that much better. Marie will open the door, Marie will greet the guests. Only these have been just focused on. I've just underlined the verb which each has a complement of its own, which means as long as these are not repeated, we're not going to omit them for no reason. Marie will open the door and greet the guests, very simply. Try to think of a way to bring these together again. Which words do you think we need to underline in the second pair? Please try to speak more loudly. Please try to speak more clearly. Yes? Which words do you think?
More clearly.
Yes, more precisely. This makes us in the measure of being able to decide which part to start thinking of, omission. What I mean by omission, by removal. اوكي هاد الكلمات اللي سطرنا عليهم راه يعاونونا بزاف دابا انهم حددوا لنا دابا بواحد الشكل وتيساعدنا نعرفوا وين الجزء اللي غنتعاملوا معاه من حيث الحذف تو سامبلومون ما غاديش نبقى نشكوش هاد البارتي الاولى ولا الثانيه ديجا اي حاجه ما بين هادو بجوج فيها تكرار راه ممكن التعامل معها. ما تنقولش الحذف صافي مباشره، ممكن التعامل معها. صافي دير الا كانت تحذف كنا تيبان لنا من الافضل تبقى، راه نخليوها. كانت مفروض علينا تبقى، غنخليوها. دونك هنا اللي غادي نتعامل معها. اما اي حاجه اخرى خارج هاد الطرفين ما غاديش نفكروا كاع نخدعوا للحذف ولا شي. دونك تو سامبلومون غادي تجي لا فراز دابا سهلت. اوكي كيفاش غتولي دابا؟
Please try to speak
more.
more loudly and clearly.
Very simply, more can be kept or just omitted depending on how you see its importance and significance in use. If you find that you are just insisting on clarity or clearliness, the same as loudliness, you can keep it. If you find that more, I mean, the one in used in advance matches with either adverbs, you would keep it, or you would just omit the second. Okay. Well, in line 3, how many sentences have we got? He decided to quit school. He decided to go to California. He decided to find a job. Yes? If you pay close attention again to the sentences, they are 3, which means we can get 3 parallel elements of the parallel structure. The first one is yes? He decided to quit school. He decided to go to California. He decided to find a job. Here's one. What do you think of the other?
To go and to find.
Precisely, and these are infinitives. Can you now start thinking of the parts to omit and remove? دابا بهادو ثلاثة ملي كاين عندنا ولا أسهل عندنا نعرفوا اش من جزء اللي غنتعاملوا معاه من حيث الحذف. He decided هادي بعدا وشنو اخر تاني؟ ديال الدوزيام ديال البروميير ولا التروزيام فراز؟
Troisième phrase.
فوالا دونك ما غاديش نفكروا بعيد على هذا. حنا تنقولوا غير النتيجه اللي غادي نخرجوا بها راه كان هذا هو الاصل ديالها تو سامبلومون. الوغ غيكون اسهل عندنا ندير اند ياك بسهوله، ما كاينش شي صعوبه دابا.
ولا فيرغول.
فوالا دونك نقولوا لا فراز دابا وشوفوا معايا الحاله كيفاش غادي تكون ديال لا فراز. اوكي. He decided to quit school and to go to California and to find a job. كاين شي ريبيتيسيون دابا ياك؟ ديجا قالوا لنا punctuate carefully. صافي دير كاينه شي بونكتياسيون غنديرو هنايا. وحده من هاد الاند فين ما شفتي بلوس راها اند، اعتبر بان راه هي اند. اوكي. وحده فيهم اللي غنخلي، ما غاديش نخليهم بجوج. في نظركم اين وحده اللي خصها تبقى؟ واش الاولى ولا الاخرى؟
الاخرى.
حيت الا كانوا عندنا حتى 7 ديال هاد اند غنخليو وحده فيهم، اما الاولى اما الاخرى. دونك كما في الفرونسي غنخليو لا ديرنيير ياك. الاخرين كي غادي يوليو باش غنعرف بانه راه كانوا عندنا هنا في هذا الموقع، خصني نخلي شي علامه، غنخلي الفيرغول. اوكي. فوالا دونك بحال كما في الفرونسي غتخلي واحد الفيرغول كتعوض الاخرين، واخر وحده فيهم كتعطينا علامه على اساس انه دوك لي فيرغول راه كانوا في الاصل اند. هاد المساله اللي تنقولوا دابا راه تخص اند وحتى اور، هي ممكن يكون عندنا منها واحد العدد. اوكي. غنخليو اخر وحده فيهم وعوض الاخرين غنديروا لي فيرغول. كي غتولي لا فراز دابا مع هاد اند اللي نقصنا. He decided to quit school to go to California and to find a job. باقي عندي شويه ديال لا ريبيتيسيون ياك.
تو نحيدو توس.
فوالا كاينه وحده فيهم غنحيد ديك الاقرب فيهم لمنطقه الحذف، اقرب وحدين لهم هذه بعيده. دونك غتبقى وحده فيهم، ما غنقول لا الاولى لا الاخرى. الشكل غيدوي على نفسه، ما غاديش يخلي لنا مجال نجتهدوا اكثر من القياس. اوكي. كي غتولي لا فراز على الشكل. شوفوا لي افضل شكل، واش نقولوا 3 ديال لي فراز مقطعين مقسمين تيقولوا شويه شويه، او لا وحده قايله كلشي وفيها 3 ديال المعاني. نتوما اختاروا الاسلوب اللي تيبان لكم احسن. He decided to quit school. Yes, he decided to quit school, go to California and find a job. حتى هاد خلينا انتر بارونتيز باش الكل يختار واش تبقى واش تحيد، واللي مهم عندنا غير باش نعرفوا وصلنا للنتيجه اللي وصلنا لها، ولكن شحال ديال المجهود كان مطلوب منا. الا لاحظتي ما كانش شي مجهود صعيب، كان خاصنا غير التدريج، غير التدرج، نمشيو غير بالتدريج. اوكي. الور كما قلت لكم راه المرحله الاولى حنا علينا نكملوها دابا باش ندوزو للمرحله الثانيه. المرحله الثانيه غادي تتعرفوا فيها على شي حوايج زايدين على هذا الشيء، ولكن تتبنى على نفس الحاجات اللي واصلينهم دابا. اوكي. The boy was old enough to work. The boy was old enough to earn some money. Underline the right words which you think you can use to combine ideas, to make combinations. Yes? نسطرو بعدا على لي زيليمون دو لا ستركتور باراليل باش عادي يمكن لينا من بعد نضمنو الاداء يكون افضل. The boy was old enough to work. The boy was old enough to earn some money.
It's not
The boy was old enough to work. يمكن من ديزاكتيفي يمكن المايك.
المايك كان ديزاكتيفي، ما عرفتش كيفاش ديزاكتيفي. دونك انا دابا عاد باش لاحظت بانه شحال من حاجه ما دابا هذا هو المشكل، ما عرفتش شحال من حاجه قلتها وما كانش مسموعه، ما عرفتش امتى كانت تقطع الصوت.
تقريبا 10 ثواني دابا، ماشي
فوالا
بزاف.
دونك بحال قريب هذا هو احسن، باش ما غاديش نلاحظ انايا مع دابا لاباج مغطيه ليا كلشي. دونك كما قلنا لي زيليمون اللي مهمين عندنا هما لي زيليمون دو لا ستركتور باراليل. اون فوا نحدد هاد لي زيليمون راه بحال درت حدود لمنطقه الحذف، ما غاديش نخاف نخطا في شي حاجه، غادي نعرف بان هاد المنطقه هي اللي غادي يكون التعامل معها، وبالتالي الا كان ما نحتاج منها حتى حاجه راه ما نحتاجش حتى حاجه، صافي وسالينا كلشي. تيسهل ديك الساعه الربط بيناتهم. دونك باش ما يكونش مغامره صراحه من بعد غنوليو نحسوا بانه ديك المغامره تقدر ما تكونش في صالحنا. الور ما كنتش انا تنستعجل النتائج، تنبغي نعرف كيفاش درنا توصلنا للنتائج، تيكون هذا اهم بالنسبه لينا بزاف. حنا قربنا نكملوا المرحله الاولى باش نوصلوا للمرحله الثانيه، وهذه هي اللي هي اهم، وتابعها المرحله الثالثه باش نفيناليزيو هذا تا هويا، ويكون عندنا وصلنا للمراحل بمرور من دوك اللي سبقوهم، كل وحده فيهم غتوصلنا للمرحله الاخرى. الور the boy was old enough to work and earn some money. هاد النتيجة اللي وصلنا لها راه بهاد الطريقة، حددنا لي زيليمون دو لا ستركتور باراليل، بهم حددنا منطقة الحذف. اوكي. الور ليكزومبل اللي غيجي من بعد والاخر غادي نتجاوزهم حيت المفروض اننا نسربيو دغيا. انا غادي تكون ليكزامبل ديال بارت نوصلوا لهادو شويه فيهم طول اكثر من القياس سورتو انه كاينين ثلاثه ديال لي فراز وانتبهوا لهاد لي دو فراز سورتو هذا 6 7 اوكي. Line 7. He gave her flowers on Saturday. He gave her candy on Monday. He gave her a ring on Tuesday. Yes? Which words do you think we need to underline in this combination? Which words do you think we need to
Saturday,
underline?
on Monday, on Tuesday.
Okay. Would you get back again to the example, please? You have who has answered now. Would you seek any other words if they would be better combined together? ممكن تنتكلم على بحال جاوبني دابا واش ممكن ترجع لنفس لي فراز وشوف ياك ما كاينه شي كلمه في كل مره كان من الافضل هي اللي نربطوا بينها وبين الاخرين ماشي دونك غادي نحاول نفكروا ياك ما كاينين كلمات اخرين حاول ترجع لهذه المساله هذه ولا
Flower on Saturday, candy
yes
on Monday, a ring on Tuesday.
I'm sorry I didn't hear you so well. Can you just repeat that? I've just used a headphone now, another different headphone. Can you repeat what you said? Yes?
Flower on Saturday,
Yes.
candy on Monday,
Yeah.
a ring on Tuesday.
This is exactly it, and I'm going to underline these more precisely. Now it has become quite easier to know about the part that you need to omit. Omission would happen right here. He gave her. Can you now start thinking of a way to of bringing these together in one sentence? Can you give me one sentence now? Yes? Is it now quite clear?
He gave her flower on Saturday, candy on Monday, and a ring on Tuesday.
In a very simple way, yes. Thank you very much. Well, the last example is going to be far more repetitive, but we are going to deal with that repetition in a very simple way. While we were in New York, we attended an opera. While we were in New York, we ate at marvelous restaurants. While we were in New York, we visited some old friends. Try to underline only. Try to underline only the parts that may seem and sound parallel. Yes? Here is one. Attended. We attended an opera. Can you find the two other parts that we need to underline? While we were in New York, we attended an opera.
Marvelous
Yes?
restaurant.
We ate at marvelous restaurants. Yes, and
Visited
Visited
some
some
old
friends.
friends.
visited some old friends. This is it. And we now start again to think of these as being the limits of the parts that now have to be thought about as optional, being optional to be kept or to be removed. وبهاد الكلمات اللي سطرت بحال هكذا بحال حددت الحدود ديال المنطقه اللي يكون التعامل معها بان نخليوها ولا نحذفوها دونك هي ولات مهدده تقدر تحذف سورتو انها فيها ريبيتيسيون اوكي دونك الحذف ما غاديش نغلط دابا انه نتجاوز واحد الحد معين ونحذف حاجه اللي غادي نكون باقي محتاجها غنحذف غير الجزء اللي جا في هذا الموقع وفيه ريبيتيسيون ويقدر يتحذف الور الجمع دابا غيكون اسهل كاتولي لا فراز. Yes, can you make one sentence with the meaning of 3 sentences?
While we were in New York, we attended an opera, ate a marvelous restaurant,
Yes.
and visited
Some
some
old.
old.
Yes, thank you very much. Well, this is exactly it. Well, now you can make just one simple sentence through, one simple combination. Well, let's move now again to the following stage. Back to the previous examples, which we now should think of making possible to move, to the next level. Before we used and but with or in a parallel structure, and was the conjunction of coordination. But what if we now start thinking of another point, is that we can use another word together with and. Both can be used with and as kind of conjunctions, but as two words. That would be called paired conjunctions. We are using conjunctions in pairs, which means we have two words that now can be used to combine other words. What do you think we can do in terms of use of both? Are you going to use them in the same location, in the same place? For example, the old man is extremely kind, both and generous. Or are you supposed to be doing differently? Yes. Each is going to be located in a different location. ما يمكنش الجمع بين هادو في نفس الموقع، ما نديروش both and generous جوج بهم في نفس الموقع. alors خص التفريق بيناتهم. اوكي. And check this example. The old man is both kind and generous. The old man is both kind and generous. Why do you think now the meaning is possible? What is the secret in making the meaning possible now by way of using both with and so get the meaning quite feasible and practically efficient and effective? You can find that it is a matter now of location as well. There is some kind of parallelism indeed, which we are basing on, and there is a secret in that. هنا بالنسبة لنا المعنى كان ممكن، ولكن المسألة ما كانش فيها غير الربط، وإنما حتى المواقع ديال الكلمات both مع and اللي تا هما دابا عطاونا واحد الإمكانية أن نخليو المعنى يبقى مفهوم وقابل للفهم. ألور الموقع تا هو عنده دور. على أي أساس قدرنا نحددوا الموقع ديال both مع and؟ هذا هو السؤال. Okay. On what basis have we decided about the location of both with and? If you pay close attention again to how both is located and how and is located and what they are at the expense of, you will find that each is located before an adjective. It comes out that these have coordination in between indeed, and to combine them, these would be the indicators. صراحة هذوما لازالهم اللي بينهم واحد النوع ديال الكورديناسيون، ياك سون كوردوني، وإنما الربط بيناتهم غادي يجي من خلال أن نتاخذوا منهم بحال هكا دي زانديكاتور، هادو دي زانديكاتور هما اللي حددنا على أساسهم الموقع ديال باوث مع اند. هذا مبدئيا، دونك هذه كبداية، وحنا غادي نحاولوا نشوفوا كيفاش اشتغلت. اوكي، نرجعوا للفكرة من الأساس وغادي نلاحظوا كيفاش بنينا الفكرة توصلنا لهنا وكيفاش عاودنا زدنا بها توصلنا للمرحلة الأخرى. اوكي. The old man is extremely kind. The old man is extremely generous. We firstly had two sentences with too much repetition, but we did not base on repetition. We dwelt on parallelism in the first place. We based our attention on kind with generous that are elements in conjunction, in coordination, and we need to combine these together by way of a thing. Well, it's up to the elements of parallelism that everything started. بناء على هاد لي زاليمون دو باراليليزم اللي علاش تبنى كل شيء من البداية به حددنا منطقة الحذف. دونك ملي عرفناهم حددنا بهم منطقة الحذف، وبالتالي دابا كان الربط أسهل. The old man is extremely kind and generous. واللي من بعد فاش جينا نحددوا مواقع الباوت مع اند بناء على هادو النيت بالضبط. صافي دير باوت جات قبل من الادجكتيف الاول، اند جات قبل من الادجكتيف الثاني. The old man is both kind and generous. بحال كتقول هاد الشخص راه في نفس الوقت ظريف وسخي. He has two qualities altogether. Well, this is one aspect, but I'm going to ask you more questions because we need to move to a third example. We have more to say about that. We can use different style if it is just we still have to, or we have the possibility to do. I'm going to ask you one of the questions. I need to put a full stop. Which of the two full stops is correct? This first one or this second one? Next to kind, I may put a full stop. من بعد هذه الكلمة kind غنحط جوج ديال لي بوان. شكون فيهم اللي تيبان لكم صحيحة؟ هذه ولا هذه؟ اللي في A ولا اللي في B؟
The first one.
Okay, the first one is correct, which means I can stop here. And it would be okay with the sentence. It would convey some sense. But we can't do it over here, very simply. The old man is both kind. You cannot say the old man is both kind. الشخص راه في نفس الوقت ظريف. And just stop. Because you are expected, by way of using both, you are expected to carry on. لحقاش متوقع منك أنك إلا قلتي both conjonction وحدة من بين جوج اللي خصهم يكونوا عندنا، لحقاش عندنا واحد الاشتغال تتشغلوا هاد لي كونجونكسيون بشكل مزدوج. الا ذكرنا وحده باقي خصنا نزيدو نذكروا الاخرى. الا ذكرنا وحده المفروض ما نوقفوش من بعد منها مباشره، باقي خصنا نزيدو الاخرى باش عاد نزيدو الاضافه. دونك هنا ما يسمحش لينا. اوكي، داكشي باش سميناهم paired conjunctions. هذا من ناحيه. من ناحيه اخرى ثاني، نشوفوا الاكزامبل اش تيعني. The old man is extremely kind and generous. ملي كتقراو الفراز بهذا الشكل هذا، شحال من كاليتي علاش تكلمنا، شحال من ميزه باش كيتميز هذا الشخص؟
Two.
صافي دير ماشي وحده. اوكي، اوتوماتيكمون ملي قلنا kind and generous زدنا وحده على الاخرى، كاينه لاديسيون. الوغ ماشي غير وحده. Non seulement no kind. Okay. The old man is both kind and generous. هذا الشخص في نفس الوقت ظريف وسخي. شحال من ميزة علاش تكلمنا تاني؟ Two qualities, which is not only one. علاش ما استعملوش هذا الستيل not only but also. Not only but also. كرهتوا لي لافراز سورتو لا عوضنا هاد both مع and ودرنا في بلاصتها not only but also. كرهتوا لي لافراز. The old man is not only kind but also generous. The old man is not only kind but also generous. In terms of location, not only is located before the first adjective and but also is located before the second adjective. And if we ever have to compare three styles of combination, which one sounds better? إلا جينا نقارنوا غير ثلاثة ديال الأشكال ديال الكومبينيزون، شكون فيهم اللي تيبان لنا هو الأفضل لحد الساعة؟ And أولا both مع and أولا not only but also. والاختيار غادي يكون دابا بين يدينا. Okay? The old man is not only kind but also generous. If it comes to me, I would opt for C. It is making style, which is very simple, something a bit eloquent and a bit neater and so on. Let's move to the following pairs and see what we can do regarding these, namely that the pattern in use is now just taking things into account. That now we have an adjective which is preceded by both and another adjective preceded now by and, which means it's not kind and generous that are parallel anymore. It's not only these, but also the paired conjunctions are now being parallelly located. ما بقاوش غير لي زالمون د لا ستركتور باراليل اللي هما دابا تيتعتبروا باراليل في هذه الحاله، حتى لي كونجونكسيون تا هما دابا الموقع ديالهم تا هو ولا باراليل، حيت غادي نحددوا المواقع ديالهم على اساس شي حاجه اخرى اللي هي باراليل، دونك تيوليو تا هما باراليل. Okay? The old man is not only kind but also generous. Now let's start thinking of a way. Let's start thinking of a way to bring these pairs again together in the light of not only but also. This is going to be that much better. بغينا دابا نوليو نوصلوا للمستوى الاخر اللي هو انه نستعملوا not only but also بشكل يسمح لنا بنفس المعنى. اوكي، الوغ عطوني دابا شنو الامكانيه اللي ممكن نديرو. A pocket calculator and a wool sweater are our indicators. هادو هما لي زانديكاتور ديالنا. اوكي على اساسهم غادي نحددوا الموقع ديال not only مع but also. Ça veut dire كي غتولي لا فراس بهذا الشكل هذا. She received. She received what?
Not only a pocket calculator.
Yes. Can you carry on, please? Not only a pocket calculator, but also.
But also
A wall sweat.
She received not only a pocket calculator, but also a wool sweater for her birthday. This way, maybe the style would get, would sound that much better. Again in line 3, he spoke angrily about the war. He also spoke bitterly about the war. What would you say? Using not only but also. Just following up the pattern. Yes? Two adverbials. Before each, we would use not only but also respectively. What would become of the statement?
He spoke not only angrily and but
also
Yes, but
bitterly
also
about the war.
Yes, this is it. Thank you. He spoke not only angrily but also bitterly about the war. Maybe you can get your style a bit evolving. It is becoming better each time. This is what I mean. We can do, out of a very simple way or a simple thing, we can make a myriad of possibilities. We are just seeking to make possibilities quite feasible. I hope to go to that university and study under Dr. Liu. Two infinitives now underlined are being used as indicators for how to locate not only with but also in another conjunction and in another combination. Yes, I hope. I hope what?
not only to go to
Yes.
that university, but
Yes,
also
but also.
study under doctor.
Yes, if you ever have an option again to write in this way and use this style, you would sound more effective and more eloquent. Not only before first infinitive, but also before the second infinitive. And this way, we are supposed to be moving to the following exercise. It's given to be a bit about that. Oh, I'm not going to get any more details. But we need to be more cautious about these statements. We are supposed to be making them possible for many reasons. Use paired conjunctions, which means both with and or not only but also. These are the first paired conjunctions. They are paired because we have two elements each time. That makes a pair. Use paired conjunctions to make one sentence with the meaning of two. Again, example 1 is going to be our token to know more about how to deal with these. I have met his father. I also have met his mother. Which of the two sentences are you going to underline in terms of parallel structure? شنو هما لي زيليمون اللي غنسطرو عليهم هنايا باش بهم نحددوا النوع ديال لي زيليمون دو لا ستركتور باراليل. I have met his father. I also have met his mother.
Meet his father, meet
His father and his mother. And the rest that sounds quite repeated needs to be dealt with in terms of omission. Now time has come for the location of not only but also. We're not going to use both with and. It's very humble and very easy and simplistic. Let's use now not only with but also and see how things may match. Well,
I have met not only his father but also his mother.
Yes, this is it. Thank you. Again, the other examples are driving us to another level again. The driver was injured in the accident. The passenger was injured in the accident too. Which words do you think we need to underline? Yes.
The driver, the passenger.
Yes, the passenger. And these are nouns, and these are subjects as well. Now, if it comes to the location of not only but also, they are going to be located exactly before the parallel structure. And this part now is going to be just removed. What is special about this sentence is that now omission has attained the first sentence. هنا بالنسبة لهاد الفراز هادي اللي هو سبيسيال بالنسبة لهاد المرة هو انه الحذف هنا وقع في البريمير فراز فقط. دونك الا سمعتي ريبيتيسيون راه ماشي تنقصدوا بها دائما الاعادة الثانية ولا الاعادة الثالثة هي اللي غتحذف. ريبيتيسيون راه الا كانت غتحذف راه غتحذف اللي ما بين هاد لي زيليمون دو لا ستركتور باراليل. دونك ممكن نحذفوا هادو. both not only but also. إلا جينا نشوفوا المواقع ديالهم غيكون المواقع ديالهم بحال كما كل مرة غيجيو قبل من هاد لي زيليمون دو لا ستركتور باراليل. دونك فاش نفعوني هاد لي زيليمون دو لا ستركتور باراليل؟ عرفت بهم حدود ديال منطقة الحذف وعرفت بهم الموقع ديال not only but also. صافي دير قبل كل وحده من هادو غتكون not only وغتكون but also. دوزيام فاز حنا قربنا نكملوها راه سريعه. الا فهمنا شي حاجه من الاول راه عاوناتنا دابا وراه غادي تعاوننا هاد المرحله ثاني في المرحله الاخرى اللي جايه. اوكي. Can you make one sentence using not only but also? Yes.
Not only the
Not
driver,
only the driver,
Yes, not only the driver.
but also the passenger.
but also
Yes, not only the driver, but also the passenger was injured in the accident. And now read the example and see how possible it was from the very beginning to do that, but things came up gradually. أنتم قراو الأفراز دابا ولاحظوا كيفاش كانت الإمكانيات عندنا من الأول، ولكن الأمور جات بالتدريج. ما تسرعناش، ما تنقلبوش على نتيجة سريعة. أوكي؟ لي زيليمون دو لا ستركتور باراليل هما لا باز، هما الاساس في هذه الحاله هذه. هما علاش تنبازيو؟ دونك لا ريبيتيسيون كيكون اسهل التعامل معها. دونك ما تركزش على لا ريبيتيسيون هي الاولى. مع لا ستركتور باراليل تيولي اسهل التعامل مع لا ريبيتيسيون وتيكون اسهل التعامل مع المواقع، الموقع ديال not only مع but also. Line 3 comprises an example like line 2. Wheat is grown in Kansas. Corn is grown in Kansas.
weed,
Yeah. Yes, wheat, together with?
corn,
Yes, this is exactly it. Well, and all else that is repeated, and namely the ones that occur in between, can be very simply fluctuated and removed. Can you give me your answer now, please? Yes?
Not only the wheat, but also the corn is growing in Kansas.
Yes, thank you. Well, not only wheat, but also corn is grown in Kansas. It may sound very eloquent. التعبير تيبان بحال شويه فيه بلاغه، وهي راه التعبير بسيط. كنا نقدروا نديروا wheat and corn are grown in Kansas ونحيدوا في حالنا، ولكن حنا تنقلبوا على كيفاش يمكن نقولوا ما احسن. صافي دير بطريقه او باخرى تنعطيو لنفوسنا اكثر من فرصه نقولوا نفس الفكره. صافي دير نقولها باكثر من طريقه. This is the point. غادي ناخذوا هذا الاكزامبل هذا وغادي نحاولوا ناخذوا نكونوا سيلكتيف، نختاروا غير دي فراز اخرين هنا حيت تنوعنا. اللي لاحظتوا هنايا لي زيليمون دو لا ستركتور باراليل هنايا عولات على لي سوجي اللي كانوا في نفس الوقت دي نون، حين انه الفراز اللي قبل عولات على لي كومبليمون دوبجي اللي كانوا نيت دي نون. دونك الباراليليزم راه هو اللي تيحدد لنا المواقع ديال not only but also، تيحدد لنا الجزء اللي غيتحذف. He buys used cars. He also sells used cars. Can you work things out and tell me which part do you think would be easily or just thought of as the only option to be omitted?
he
Yes.
buys,
Buys. This
he
is a
also
verb. Yes, and sells. Can you now start thinking of the part which we may just omit? Can you tell me the words which I can omit? ممكن تقول لي الكلمات اللي غنحذف؟
easy cars,
هنا هي الأولى ولا الثانية؟
ثانية
هذه واش الأولى ولا الثانية؟ عاودي ثاني نعاود لك السؤال.
الأولى.
فوالا حيت راه الموقع ديالها اللي حكم عليها ماشي حنا. دونك جات بين الجوج ديال لي فيرب بويسك ما غنحتاجوهاش وغادي نحتاجو نجمعوا لا فيرب، غادي نكرازيوها. اوكي، واش اخر؟ هي اولسو السوجي ديجا راه معاود. دونك حنا تنتعاملوا على حساب هادو. كون ما كناش قدرنا نحددوا بهم شي حاجه ما كناش غنبداو بهم. صافي دير بدينا بهم، بدينا تنقللوا الاخطاء، عرفنا منطقه الحذف، هذه وحده. بدينا بهم حيت غادي نقللوا الاخطاء بان نحدد الموقع ديال نوت اونلي بات اولسو. صافي دير قبل كل واحد فيهم كاتولي دابا لا فراز هي.
Not only he buys
واش نوت
but
اونلي قبل من هي ولا قبل من الفيرب؟
قبل
اوكي
من
عاودي الفعل قبل من الفيرب. دونك ماشي من البدايه كاع، حيت الا بدينا بها من الديبار غتكون سابقه ان سوجي. دونك بات اولسو غادي خصها هي تجي قبل من ان اوتر سوجي وما بقاش عندنا شي سوجي اخر. الوغ واخا عاودي معايا قول لي دابا كيفاش المفروض تكون. هي
he not
yes
only buys but also sell used cars.
not only buys but also sells used cars. This is it. He not only buys but also sells used cars. أنا هنا بغيت نسولكم على واحد المسألة. فاش تسمعوا واحد تيدوي بهذه الطريقة هذه he not only buys but also sells used cars، تيبان لنا بنات يتقن اللغة نيت، ولكن جيت تلاحظوا الإتقان تيتبنى على ستركتور باراليل. وستركتور باراليل عرفناها من البداية شنو هي، بقينا معاها تا استوعبناها مزيان. وغتلقى بأنه واخا يبان لينا أسلوب نيت ما عرف فينا مستوى وصل، راه يقدر يكون يعتمد على واحد الحاجة بسيطة تنعرفوها شنو هي. دونك راه ممكن بهذاك الستركتور باراليل اللي تعاملنا معاه في الأول بشكل بسيط ممكن نطوروا التعامل الاستعمال ديالها ونوظفوها بأشكال قدر تعطينا أسلوب باقي نيت فعلا في المتناول، ولكن تيبان أفضل. هذا هو البوين اللي كاين. He not only buys but also sells used cars. An example of eloquency. Let's move now to the sentence numbers or line number 6. The city suffers from air pollution. It suffers from water pollution as well. As well means also, or it means too. Can you tell me which words do you think we should underline? I'm talking about sentence number 6 or line number 6. Yes? Which words do you think we should underline?
The city.
Well, can you read the example? City has been replaced by it, which means we still have the same words, but we have avoided repeating it, but it is still just referred to. هنايا الكلمة ما عاودناش ولكن درنا شي حاجة تعوض لو نو. دونك راه بحال مازال عندنا غير من خلال واحد البرونو
The
كيعود على
air
هذا.
water.
Yes. Air pollution together with
Water pollution.
water pollution. And the parts that we must omit now occur exactly in between. ولازالهم اللي غادي يكون التعامل معاهم من حيث الحذف هما لا ريبيتيسيون اللي بين هاد لي زيليمون د لا ستركتور باراليل. صافي دير هنا فين غادي نقدروا نشتغلوا باش نحذف هادو ما حذفناهم. اوكي، عطيوني دابا اون فراز فيها not only but also بمواقع صحيحه.
The city not only suffers from air pollution, but also from water pollution.
اوكي، دونك الا انتبهنا لهاد الكلمات اللي مسطرين عليهم حاول تاخذهم بعين الاعتبار دابا وفكر فيهم حتى هما، واش يكون افضل نكونوا اقرب لهم ولا نبعدوا عليهم واخا شويه. حاول تاني تشوف هاد الامكانيه تاهي. الور واش يكون افضل انني نخلي not only but also تبقى اقرب ما يمكن لهاد لي زيليمون د لا ستركتور باراليل ولا ممكن نبعد بهم شويه؟
تكون أقرب.
اقرب حيت الا قلنا not only قبل من verb but also خصنا لها an autre verb. وفينا هو واش عندنا شي واحد هنا ولا ما كاينش؟ ولا ما كاينش غادي خصنا نصنعوا واحد، نوليو نقدروا نطيحوا في انه نبداو نحولوا الشكل ديال المعنى، نقدروا المعنى يوقع فيه تحريف. دونك اش من موقع تيبان لكم افضل؟ ما كاينش افضل من لا ستركتور باراليل، نبقاو اقرب لها قدر المستطاع ويكون هكذاك امن. تندوي على شي حاجه اللي تضمن لي نتيجه، ما غاديش يكون ما غاديش نغامروا بها. دونك الا فكرنا في هذوكم ستركتور باراليل راه لنفس الاسباب اللي دوينا عليهم في الاول، باش نعرف حدود منطقه الحذف ونعرف الموقع ديال كل واحد من هادو. الور اللي كان جاوبني حاول تفكر في هذيك الامكانيه وشوف لا فراز بهذا الشكل هذا. يس yes, can you carry on please? Yes.
The city suffers from not only air pollution but also water pollution.
اوكي دونك هنا كاحتمال هذا درنا حتى هو غادي يكون امن للاسباب التاليه. The city suffers from what? Not only. فاش غنقول not only دونك اوتوماتيكمون تنقول لك بحال راه ماشي غير حاجه وحده، اكثر من حاجه. from not only واي حاجه ذكرتها باقي خاصني نضيف عليها عاوتاني من بعد، وهذه كبدايه تيبان بانه لي كومبليمون هما اللي كان عندنا، الحالات هما اللي كان عندنا منهم واحد العدد. اوكي حاجه واحده اخرى فاش غنرجع للفراز الثانيه اللي صوبنا دابا، عندنا اون ريبيتيسيون. شنو هي الحاجه اللي تعاودت عندنا ثاني جوج مرات؟ غتلقاو بانه كاينه pollution. اوكي هنايا واحد المساله اللي بقات لنا، غادي نحذفوا وحده منهم ونشوفوا الى اي درجه الحذف ما غيضرش بالفكره. غنشوف اين pollution من هاد الجوج اللي هي اللي قريبه لمنطقه الحذف، قريبه الاقرب ملاصقه ملازمه لها. واش pollution الاولى ولا الثانيه؟ دونك الى حذفناها
The first one I think.
طيب يدير الى حذفناها شوف واش غادي يخسر المعنى. The city suffers from not only air but also water pollution. The city suffers from not only air but also water pollution. سمعتي فراس بحال هكذا تيتكلم بها شي واحد كيغيبان لك الاسلوب عنده واش تعرف يهضر مزيان ولا لا؟ The city suffers from not only air but also water pollution. اوكي فوالا دونك تنحاولوا نشوفوا حتى فاش نقارنوا نفوسنا مع ناس اخرين تنشوفهم تعرفوا يستعملوا اللغه مزيان، راه غير يعرفوا بعض التفاصيل البسيطه اللي لا تعرفنا عليها حتى حنايا راه ممكن حتى حنايا مع الوقت سورتو مع البراتيكا غادي يكون افضل. حنايا لي زيكزامبل اللي بقاو لينا ما غاديش ناخذ معاهم شويه د الوقت بزاف، غادي نمشي للمرحله اللي نفيناليزيو بها هذا الشيء. دي زيكزامبل حنا غادي نحاولوا نتعرفوا عليهم دابا، غادي نعولوا على هذه المرحله اللي وصلنا ليها ونوصلوا للمرحله الثالثه هي اللي غنجمعوا فيها كاع هادشي اللي تعرفنا عليه لحد الساعه. اوكي well please study these examples again. You will find something different. The movie was not bad. The movie was not good. I don't like tea. I don't like coffee. Line number 3, they did not rescue the wounded people. They did not call for an ambulance either. And line number 4, I was not able to tell him the truth. His friends were not able to tell him the truth either. Please study these examples. I will be right away. Just 2 minutes.
السلام.
Hello, back again. What I said earlier is that these sentences are, different from the other examples, not in terms of the parallel structure. Each has a parallel structure, indeed. The movie was not bad. The movie was not good. If it comes to the parallel structure, we have these, each of which is an adjective. We can underline them to know more about the parts to be omitted, and we can very simply omit this part. But the question is, if it comes to combination, we cannot use any of these. None of the paired conjunctions can be used in these examples. Can you tell me why we can't use these? We cannot use both with and, not only but also, either with or, cannot be used in these combinations. Why do you think so? Why do you think we cannot use, yes?
واش كاين اوغوجيستخومون ديال هذا الفيديو؟
كاين واه.
صدقاش انا ما مسجلش في ليكيب، ما درتيش ليا انسكريبسيون في ليكيب وما تيطلع عندي والو. يلا
ما عرفتش دابا انا غادي نحاول نشوف مع كان خاصني نكون نرجع نشوف شكون اللي باغي يلتحق وما دركش. ما عنديش هنا شي حد في لا ليست، واحد في الاول اللي لقيت وما تيكونش باين لي عاوتاني حتى بالنسبه اشنو السميه نقدر اجوتيك دابا انت داخل معنا خلاص. واش كتسمع لينا غير من عند شي حد من صحابك؟
واستاذ صيفط ليا استاذ الياه وعاد باش دخلت الغيونيو ديالو.
فوالا دونك ما في خباريش، ما عطانيش شي حد زعما. الا بغيتي نقدر نزيد السميه دابا مع لا ليست. انا ما عنديش.
السيد راه
نشوف.
صيفطها لك في ميساج.
صافي عاد لقيت دابا واحد الميساج. صافي هو دابا لقيت الميساج. هي بالنسبه لا سيونس راه اونريجستري، باش يكون عندنا هذه الامكانيه هذه، باش على الاقل اللي ما استطاعش انه بسبب مشكل الكونيكسيون ولا شي حاجه بحال هكذا يقدر يلتحق من بعد. اوكي الور غير باش نكملوا
بالنسبة
نعم.
للبروجيسترون السيد ما تكونش فايتة ساعة ونص باش يمكن لك تسجلها.
ياك خصني دابا راه فايت ساعه ونص، نعاود تاني نحبس ونأونريجيستري من بعد.
والسيد يمكن لك تقسمها على 3، حبس وعاد دير
واش
اونغوجيسترون مرة أخرى.
فوالا دونك نحبس